Well, hello, everybody. This is David Nuno, your trusty host here of TexAgs Rewind. TexAgs Radio is the show that we do. It's pretty good.
Excellent.
You like it, huh?
Very well.
It's my favorite Aggie programming of the week.
Yeah, and when I make a mistake, I hear from these guys on the show, and when I do something well, I don't hear from them. But that's okay, because we're here to talk about what happened on the show today. Go our Heisman watch. Who's your Heisman winner or leader?
Gotta be Hendon Hooker.
Sponsored by Shirt LaFlaw.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah, Hendon Hooker, yeah. Love
And then
that guy.
Hooker's, yeah.
Pretty phenomenal. We had Stephen McGee on. He talked about some of the finer points of Connor Wigman there. I love talking to him about all that stuff. We also had Ryan Swope on the show. He's great as always, talking about how the wide receivers would adjust and make their catches around college football with Aaron Torres. And these guys, are we optimistic at this table for this game?
Yes.
I absolutely am not.
No, I'm in the middle.
I'm taking the Aggies and the points. 3-point favorite.
All right.
By more than 3.
Just watch. You'll probably like some of it, and some of it you'll not like, and then you'll have an opinion. Go.
Hey, I've got some changes this week.
Uh-oh.
Okay, but number 5, I'm going to go with
Max
Duggan, the TCU quarterback. Oh, I see it's already up there. So, 341 yards passing and 3 touchdowns in that 41-31 victory over West Virginia. Kept the Horned Frogs undefeated. Again, thrown for 2,212 yards, 22 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. Also rushed for 276 yards and 4 touchdowns. And remember, he didn't start the year as the starting quarterback for TCU.
That's right.
Number 4, new guy, new face here, Blake Corum of the Michigan running back. Man, he's been on a roll of late. In that 29-7 victory over Michigan State last week, had 177 yards rushing and a touchdown. That was his 5th consecutive game in which he's exceeded 100 yards. In fact, in the last 5 games, he's gained 843 yards and 7 touchdowns. Overall, 1,078 yards and 14 touchdowns. Blake Corum, Michigan. I keep getting impressed with Drake May.
Yeah.
The North Carolina quarterback, redshirt freshman, just came off his best performance of the season in a 42-24 victory over Pitt. May completed 77.3% of his passes for 388 yards and 5 touchdowns. It was his 5th consecutive 300-yard passing game in 6 of the season. He leads the nation in total offense, 2,671 passing yards and 29 touchdowns, 439 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions on the year. Drake May. Number 2, C.J. Stroud, the Ohio State quarterback, completed 78.8% of his passes in a 44-31 victory over Penn State, 354 passing yards and a touchdown in that game. So overall, 2,377 yards, 29 touchdowns, and just 4 interceptions. And remaining number 1 on my list, and yes, that means I don't have Bryce Young on the list. Hendon Hooker, the Tennessee quarterback, 76% passing completion in a big win over Kentucky. Threw for 245 yards and 3 touchdowns. Also ran for 23 yards and a touchdown. Overall, 2,338 yards, 21 touchdowns, no interceptions. Is there anything that came to mind that you said, all right, son, here's where you made a mistake and here's what we got to see you do better. Here's where you take your next step.
Yeah, I mean, he did so many things really, really well. I think it's just if there's opportunities to not be forced to make an off-platform throw. There's one deep ball he threw. I think Evan Stewart came down with it, but made a phenomenal catch. It was underthrown on a fade ball up to the left. Mm-hmm. And he kind of throws it off his back foot. And, those type of instances, he has the ability to make the throws from every different arm angle. And that's one of his strengths. But if you don't have to do that, if you can plant your feet and deliver a throw, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And then I think also just taking some more big shots, take that deep ball shot when the defense gives it to you.
Talking to Stephen McGee here on TexAgs Radio. What about that rush defense? I mean, pitiful performance, obviously. It's been a concern all season long, but Ole Miss really went after them.
They did. To me, it's a lot of it. The disappointing was not being able to get off the field, certainly, but it more so than just the run defense. It was the quarterback's ability to escape and scramble on a pass play. That's really what did it for me. Is like 3rd and 12 and the quarterback takes one down and converts. That should never happen. And so to me, it's all about missed tackles on defense. They've got to they got guys getting to the football. It's just a matter of getting the guy down, right? Defensively, it's all about making the tackles and getting after the quarterback, and just not good enough last week. They're a better defense than what they showed, in my opinion.
All right, who do you think is going to replace Brian Harsin?
Well, I'll tell you, I'll say this. I had Hugh Freeze on my podcast today. Talked to him actually during their bye, so it's a little bit, I don't want to mislead people, but I did ask him about jobs, and he said, he was very transparent. He said, listen, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I try to be transparent with my AD, with my players, and there are certain places I would listen to. So, I think he's a candidate. I get the Lane Kiffin talk, but by the way, weren't we talking about Lane Kiffin with LSU and Florida and Miami last year, and that didn't really, present itself? And so, Lane Kiffin's comments yesterday, I don't know if you heard him, David, but he was asked about it and basically deferred and said, you guys should go get Coach Prime. So, I think it's an interesting search. I don't think Kiffin is a legitimate candidate. I mean, listen, you throw that Jimbo Fisher, 10-year fully guaranteed contract at him, maybe he listens. I don't think he's a legitimate candidate. And then it just comes down to, what does Deion want to do? Does he want to take an SEC job to say he's an SEC coach? Does he want to wait? Does he want to build up the HBCUs? He's obviously done an unbelievable job there. I do think Freeze would take it. My hunch is, if it was offered, reasonable, whatever. I mean, keep in mind, he just signed an extension that's going to pay him $5 million a year. So, if you think you're getting him for 4 years, $20 million, that's probably not happening. But if I was handicapping it today, I would say probably Hugh Freeze. But again, I think it comes down to, does Deion want to make the move? Does he feel like Auburn is the right fit? Because he certainly adds an element to that coaching search. And I'll tell you this, I think it'd be really fun to have any of those three at Auburn, but obviously Deion would bring something completely different. He's proven to be able to sign elite high school players. I think he'd be really good in the portal. And the other thing, too, with Deion, he's proven to be a good coach. I know it's the FCS level, but they went 11-2 last year, 11-1 against FCS opponents, and they're 7-0 right now. So he's been really good. But if I had to handicap it, I think my opinion is basically similar to most others, and I'd say probably one of those three, and really I think one of those two, Freeze or Deion.
You're asking for optimism. All right? We'll get to pessimism in a minute, but optimism, we're at home. Florida's not a good football team. Now, we're not really either so far, but I think we've flashed some stuff, some positives, on the offensive side. If we can shore up the defense, I think that we should be very positive.
Okay. Kelly?
Connor is a great reason to be positive. Hopefully he plays well again. Like Matt was saying, Florida's not great. I will say this, the team's been coachable all year. Like, we've been getting better in certain areas. Usually whatever we do really poorly at, one week we have to show improvement the next week. So I'm thinking tackling is going to get better.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I'm assuming they worked on it, and we've been coachable and things like that this year. So hopefully tackling's a lot better. And if tackling is better, the defense should play better. Offense continue on its roll. I like it.
Yeah, this is a game. I love him. I talk about it every week. Continue to feed number 6 because I think he'll have success against Florida, and if he does, you got a chance.
All right. Quickly, reason for pessimism. What concerns you about this weekend?
Anthony Richardson.
We're not a very good team.
Yeah.
Our defense. I mean, we struggle against the run, and this is a good running team. I think they're the second best running team in the SEC behind Ole Miss. So
that should worry you.
Saw what Ole Miss did to us, but I mean, again, it's I don't know. I really don't. But we're on like a 3-game win streak against Florida, aren't we?
Well, let's make it 4. All right, who am I going to pick to close it out? Hunter, let's go.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel.
Yes, good idea.
You're going to like that. Click the gig 'em button on your YouTube, and you should share it and comment. Tell us whether you like it or not.
You doing
Comment.
All right there? You good?
I swear I was holding that. I was trying my best not to do it. I was struggling. Gig 'em.
Gig 'em. Thanks, guys.